Hello there and welcome to the Liverpool versus Bournemouth preview. And hopefully this can be the game that actually turns things around for us and helps us maybe rediscover a little bit of form, or at least, if anything, pick up the result. Pick up a result that we really, really need. We're in our worst vein of form that we've been in this entire season. Out of the last 5 games, we've lost 3 of them, won 2 of them. And it's obviously, it feels very, I don't know. I think I can't remember who wrote it. I can't remember who wrote the tweet that I saw, but they said something along the lines of, "It shows how good Liverpool have been this season to how badly we all take a loss." And obviously subsequent losses as well. We've had a couple of losses, 2 losses in a row. Obviously the Chelsea game and the Watford game as well, losing against Atletico Madrid. But it's not all doom and gloom. It really isn't all doom and gloom. And I, myself, have to learn that as well. Sometimes I get caught up in the fact of just like how good we've been. And a couple of losses can just, I don't know. It's like the old age saying, isn't it? Where it's like you can do so many good things, but people only really remember the bad things that you do. And it's a really, really bad habit that I get into. Like, obviously, we've been on an amazing win streak, been very, very good this season. And yet we've had 1 loss in the Premier League. We've had obviously knocked out the FA Cup as well. And all of a sudden, everything seems to have come tumbling down. And we've just got to realise as well that we have done exceptionally well. We've done very, very well. Better than anybody else by a mile in the Premier League. We've got to remember that as well. We've got to remember how good we've been. That there was somehow going to be a slump or a bad moment, as managers like to say, coming. And this is our bad moment. It really is. God knows what will happen against what's the name, like Atletico Madrid and stuff like that. But this is the challenge that we've got coming up ahead of us on Saturday, 12:30 kickoff. I'm never a fan of us playing 12:30 kickoffs. I don't know why. We just don't seem to do that great in them, from what I can remember. But we come up against Bournemouth. Now, the last 4 or 5 times that we've played Bournemouth, we have scored a minimum of 3 goals without reply. 3-0 in December. We had 3-0 last season in February. 4-0, 3-0, and then 4-0 again. So everything points towards a Liverpool win. But as we know, this is not the league that you can turn around and say, guaranteed win. That's a guaranteed win. That is an absolute win right there. It's not, and we've discovered that firsthand, obviously, with the Watford result we had last week. So we need to go into this game, I think, with a couple of the players that played against Chelsea midweek, some that I feel that deserve their place, and some that I think that will actually stay on the bench for this game. Some that might surprise a couple of people, some people that might not surprise. But hey, let's run with it and see what we can do. This Bournemouth team, just want to see where they are in the table. So they've gone back in to the bottom 3. Obviously, Watford and West Ham getting big wins that they needed desperately. But Bournemouth actually haven't been doing too badly from what I remember, but I might be remembering something completely different. In the Premier League, they last got a draw against Chelsea, which they could have actually probably gone on and won. I think they were leading at one point as well. I think Marcus Alonso scored 2 goals. They got beat 3-0 by Burnley, got beat by Sheffield United, they beat Aston Villa, got beat by Arsenal, beat Brighton, got beat by Norwich, got beat by Watford, and then I think that was an FA Cup game where they beat Luton. It's been an indifferent season for Bournemouth. It actually looked like they were nailed on for relegation at one point. And the relegation scrap is just interesting in general, to be honest. It really is. Like, it's ridiculous how, Bournemouth are on 27 points, so are Watford, so are West Ham, and then, Brighton are 1 point ahead on 28, Aston Villa are on 25 points, having played a game less. It's one of those things, it really is. Even Norwich are starting to pull themselves up as well. It's not going to be an easy game. It really won't be an easy game. I'm not anticipating an easy game whatsoever. I really am not. And I say that about every game. And maybe some people might think, oh, come on, it's boring. Obviously, I always expect a tough game against anybody from 20th in the league up to 2nd in the league. I think it's going to be a tough game. We're not in a very good moment as it stands right now, but I think that we can turn it around pretty quickly. I really do. I think Klopp was saying that Naby Keita could be available for Bournemouth. Don't know whether that's confirmed or not, but he could be available for Bournemouth. Other injuries, obviously Jordan Henderson, who we are missing massively, and Xherdan Shaqiri, and obviously long-term Nathaniel Klein. Bournemouth are missing Charlie Daniels, David Brooks, which has been long-term, Chris Mepham, if that's how I'm saying that right, Lloyd Kelly, Arnaut Danjuma, and he couldn't play anyway because he would be playing against his parent club, but Harry Wilson is also out as well, I think. Is that right? Something to do with personal reasons, it says on here, but I don't actually know what that is. But fair enough. So, how do I think that Liverpool are going to line up? Right, I want to go back and just have a look at our lineup that we put up against Chelsea. If I can do that, that would be lovely. Just to get an idea exactly of the type of lineup that I want to put out. I think there will be a couple of changes that we would make. But yes, it's not actually letting me do it. That's fantastic. Come on. No? Alright, it's not letting me look at it, so whatever. So the sort of lineup that I would go with probably doesn't have too many changes, but it might have just a good few that are needed. Now, in this one, I'm just going to go straight to it. Fabinho goes to the bench, and Firmino stays on the bench as well. I love Fabinho. Fabinho is a fantastic player. He really is. He's just not playing well at the moment. And the very same sentence goes for Bobby Firmino. It really does. I just think that we are used to these players being in the starting 11, that when they come out of the starting 11, people are just a bit like, whoa, hey, why aren't these playing? At the moment, you've got to go with it on merit and on who actually deserves to play. At the moment, Fabinho and Firmino don't deserve to play. They've contributed a great deal to us in the past, which is absolutely fantastic. They've been brilliant, but they aren't brilliant right now. We need to go with players that I feel, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, of course, that I think can actually come in, make a difference, and give us something positive to walk away with on Saturday. Now, I personally feel that the players that replace them would be Gini Wijnaldum for Fabinho and Minamino for Bobby Firmino. Most likely what would happen is Divock Origi gets put in Bobby Firmino's place. I would much prefer it to be Minamino. I felt that he was one of the few players that had a positive against Chelsea. In my opinion, he played much better than we've seen him play. He seems to be growing a little bit more into the system. Why not let's have him do that alongside Mo Salah and have him do it alongside Sadio Mane, which I think is going to be the front three. In the midfield, I think it could be Gini Wijnaldum. Milner's back, so Milner could definitely be in there, and Oxlade-Chamberlain. I think that could be something that we go with. If Naby Keita's back, obviously there's an option there as well. We could use Naby Keita. But I think that I'd like to see someone like Milner come back into the midfield. Oxlade-Chamberlain, definitely. And I'd like to see Gini Wijnaldum in there as well. I personally don't think that he's going to shift from the 4-3-3. I would like us to see us go with a 4-2-3-1. But what do I know? I don't know a lot. I'm not a football manager. Anyway, we go into the back four. It pretty much speaks for itself. You know what the back four is going to be like if everyone's fit. Gomez, Van Dijk, Trent, and Andy Robertson, and Alisson in goal. That's pretty much how I think that we'll go with. And the rest of it is just how I would like us to go with. If we end up going with like Fabinho and Firmino, fair play. I'll support it because they're our players. You can only support what is out there for the match. I just think that there needs to be that rediscovery somehow of the intensity and our high pressing game that we just don't seem to have right now. It seems to have disappeared a little bit, which is disappointing. But I think that we can get it back, and I think that if we play with some of these players, even having the options of a Fabinho and a Firmino from the bench, I think that can be really positive, and giving Minamino a bit more responsibility, maybe playing as the false nine, or if you wanted to play Salah down the middle and you can play Minamino as the wide player, whichever way you want to work it, I think it could slowly work. I think it could really work and build him into the team. But more than anything, it doesn't matter how many goals are scored. It just matters about getting the result and putting to bed some of those fears that a few of us have about us throwing away a 22-point lead. I don't know who that could be. It wouldn't be me. But no, honestly, like it just matters about getting the result. That's all that matters at the moment. I've predicted this result a lot over this season. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Liverpool win. It just sounds like I predict a Liverpool win all of the time. And it's purely because I've seen this team play ridiculously this season. And I truly believe that we can get a result against Bournemouth. The flip side of that is Bournemouth, near the relegation zone, in the relegation zone right now, they're going to be fighting for their lives. It's the exact same words I used when I was previewing Watford. They will be fighting for their lives. And Bournemouth, when they're on it, can actually play really decent football. They can pick teams apart if they want to, if they get the correct players playing on form like a Ryan Fraser, Callum Wilson, Josh King, players like that in the attacking thirds. They are dangerous, and they've got some good finishes as well. I've just mentioned two of them, Callum Wilson and also Josh King. I just hope that we can get the result. Whether it's 2-1, whatever. If we keep a clean sheet, great, but clean sheets, I don't care about right now. Clean sheets will get you results. Yes, totally. They will get you draws or they will get you wins. But I would just rather let's go out there and try and put on a positive performance, put together some decent football if we can, and just get the result. That's all I'm looking for out of this game. Let me know what you think in the comments below, though. Let me know what your thoughts are ahead of the game. How are you feeling about the game? Are you pensive about it, nervous about it? And who do you think is going to be starting in that starting lineup on Saturday? Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please do like it and subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you once again, and I'll catch you later.